All right, guys, we are finally on the air. Let me make a little adjustment here. What's up, guys? It is Rick Ginn, and we are on the Rick Ginn YouTube channel. And tonight, it's actually, I think it's a really cool topic. I'm going to walk you through the Rick Ginn $100,000 a month routine you can copy. And I'm going to break it down as detailed as I can get it, but honestly, we need to break down what's in here first. So before I get started, do me a favor. You guys have the comment section on the side of your screen. Use it. And this is a great place just to connect with anybody who has an interest in wholesaling. Honestly, anybody who truly wants to get ahead in life, go ahead, introduce yourself. Let us know what market you're in. This is the perfect place to do it. If you have a question, just ask it. It's easy. So I do these Monday night streams so you guys get more availability. So it's kind of a use it or lose it. And this is part of the lessons I'm going to teach you today. If you do not utilize what me and Zach put out there for you, then you only have yourself to blame. So what I'd like you to do is do the comments, introduce yourself. And then as you see, I also put in a link in there for anybody who wants to go on a one-on-one mastermind. You don't have to show video. I don't care if you do it or not. But honestly, if you have a question, if you've never done a deal or you've done a couple hundred deals, I don't care. I'm here to help. The main thing we don't do is we try to solve problems and we try to always move forward. I do not sit in the past and hang on it because honestly, it doesn't get you anywhere. So those are the kind of the rules of what we're doing. I'm basically on for an hour and a half and I will answer questions as long as I have questions to answer. So tonight we're going to dive in. I'm just going to show you my $100,000 routine. And I'm going to show you not only how you can use it today, you can actually copy it. And once you understand and you can wrap your head around this, you can do amazing things in your life. I'm going to be honest with you. This took me a long time to figure out. I was the $5,000 man. I was the $10,000 a month man. I worked 15. I just jumped in $5,000 increments till it took me years to get to that steady flow. Now, my goal with these live streams is for the people that truly want to get the help is to give you not the shortcut, the blueprint to do. Because if you haven't figured out by now, there is no shortcut in this stuff. And I want you to understand when you're being sold a shortcut, there's no shortcut. Like that's the big secret. There is no shortcut in wholesaling. You actually have to do the work. And guys, there's so many opportunities out there. There's so much money out there. You just got to find the vehicle that that's best going to serve you. I'm biased. I love wholesaling. Honestly, I would not be where I am today if I did not take this leap over 20 years ago. So you guys know the rest of the story. You guys know my son's been in the business with 6 years and we absolutely love what we do. So my goal today is to walk you through and make you understand how you can earn 100 grand a month. Because to be honest with you, when somebody told me that, I said, you're just full of crap. There's like, I just want to earn 10 grand. I just want to get 5K. And it's okay if you haven't done a deal yet, but I want to show you is the routines you do now with 0 deals, the same blueprint, the same DNA for what you're going to do is you have to do the work now and you have to form the habits. Because once you get the habits, then the only thing that changes is the number you earn per month. And guys, you're talking about a guy that I was happy if I earned 3 to 5 grand every month in my regular job job. And I'm in shock I did it, but we all learn as we move on in life. And I'm here to give you an awakening and just help you out with it. So if you found wholesaling, then you're in the right place. If you have an interest in wholesaling, you are definitely in the right place. Here's the really cool thing about what me and Zach do is we bring the information to you and I remove the barrier from you. So many of you guys think you have to go through these gurus and all these specialists and people like that. And I'm here to tell you that is not the case. So we've decided to just give you the information. Those of you that want to step forward and take a massive amount of action and actually make a difference in your life, I will support you 100%. If you're going to come on live and tell me how hard it is, then you've already made up your mind and I probably can't help you out. It's just the truth of the matter. So let's get into it. I think everybody is on and let's jump in a routine. So if you have a question, kind of put it in there. Damn, Mike. Okay. Let's see here. So I believe I put the one-on-one link on the top. If you guys want to join in, it's a first come, first serve. But let me jump into what we're talking about on our blueprint today. And we will go ahead and do this. So I am going to go. And by the way, there's no order of importance here. It's a little more random today how I'm doing this. But I want you to understand every one of these things I put on here was my routine. So the first thing you have to understand, by the way, if you guys are brand new and you're like, what is this guy babbling about? If you want to learn how to do wholesaling, you've never done a deal before, go over to freewholesaling.com. It is a 100% free course me and my son have put together that cuts you through all the crap of all the stuff that you have to learn wholesaling. There's so many people out there trying to oversell you guys. Here's the reality is, I don't think there's a lot of people that have more experience than me doing it. I'm sure there are some, but who are out on the internet, like sharing the ideas and how to truly be a successful wholesaler. And so, I have the credibility for it. So I got 20 plus years doing this, and I just cut through and show you how to get it done. So many people are trying to sell us information for such a high value content. And honestly, if their stuff was really good, I just don't know why they're all just selling courses, but I don't know. I guess it's easier to flip students than it is to flip property. And that's the truth of why they do it, but no one's ever going to admit doing it. So go over to freewholesaling.com. It's 100% free. My goal is not only to get you your first deal, but teach you how to make your first 100,000. And then if you truly possess the skill sets that I teach and you take a massive amount of action, if you want to JV with me, I'm going to show you how to go over to sellmypaper.com. You can post your deals there. If it's suitable, we'll pair up with you. I'm going to be honest, like we are brutally honest if you have a deal or not, because I don't have time to waste on, what if deals. So if you're new, make sure you go all the way through freewholesaling.com. By the way, just to let you guys know, I know every student's progress through the course. So it bases on a percentage. So like even when you guys are online, I can tell on a computer in front of me here if you've actually gone through the course. So be honest with yourself. That's rule number one in wholesaling, because I can't help you out if you can't tell the truth. So that being said, let's jump into it. So as I said, we're talking about how to get the blueprint, the mindset, and the routine to earn $100,000 consistently every month. And even though you're not going to start off earning that, if you develop the skill set and the habits up front, amazing things are going to happen with it. So I want to refer back to my 3-3-1 rule. And so there's basically 3 phases to wholesaling. The first one's going to be marketing. So if I had 10 hours in a day or a week, however you guys want to do it, I'd do the 3-3-3-1 approach. So if we have marketing, we have acquisitions, and we have dispositions. So if you don't figure out marketing, don't even worry about the other two. You're never going to figure it out. So marketing, I'm going to spend a third of my time. I'm going to spend 3 hours. Acquisitions, I spend another 3 hours, and I'm going to spend 1 hour on dispositions. Now, that is a very rough formula, but I'm just telling you, if you're going to prioritize on a scale of 10, a third to marketing, a third to acquisitions, and then the other one is going to be on dispositions. Because so many people like, where do I start? The truth of the matter, when you start, it's more like, it's probably double that on marketing. But on average, as you get going, you're going to break it down to a third, and a tenth. The second thing you have to master, no matter to get to the $100,000 a month level, I've never met anybody that didn't do this. They've got to be a ridiculous list ninja. Why? Because you have to understand the list. You got to learn how to pull the correct list. Without the right list, your list is just a prospect. Your list is just, they're like suspects. Call it a murder case. You have X amount of suspects. Within there, a certain percentage of them are deals. It just points you in the right direction. You become a list ninja by doing it. So the easiest way is go over to freewholesaling.com. I teach you step by step. You literally just copy what I do. I can't make it any easier for you. I have no upgrade for you. You just take it. Okay. I'm looking for the people that really want to take massive amounts of actions. The ones that do it, they get through it. It's the only difference between the people that have success and the ones that don't. So But what happens is you keep pulling this list, you learn. And as you get smarter with your data, you find little niches that you like to do. This is how I found probates, guys. I became a list ninja. And I'm here to tell you, you can never spend too much time on a list, because when I put my first 3 lists together, I did not have a lot of money. Back then, we actually had to pay for the list. It was extremely painful. Now you guys have services like listrei.com, which you can do amazing things with. So the technology's changed. There's more people doing it, but I'm here to tell you, you have to become a list ninja. Nobody ever gets to the 100K mark a month without truly mastering lists. Go over to freewholesaling.com if you're just trying to figure that out. I want you to understand that. So now I'm going to give you stuff that I've never met anybody that doesn't make 100 grand or more that does not follow these set of rules. They're going to be harsh, but it's the truth. You're never going to get this in a regular wholesaling course because most people can't handle it. But you guys work with me and Zach, so I know you can handle the truth, because that's the only way I know how to deliver a message. You have to lose any excuses in wholesaling. At the end of the day, you are the only person that's accountable. If you're going to blame me, you're going to blame Zach, you're going to blame your mom, your girlfriend, your wife, your sister, your husband, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle. You cannot blame the market. The market are just an outcome of what people do. So I see people blaming markets, which I find just really ironic. It's terrible. Full disclosure, I used to have a lot of excuses when I started wholesaling. I still did good, but I never achieved greatness till I got rid of excuses. Why? Number one, nobody cares about your excuse. Do you think your sellers, especially your motivated sellers, really care about your excuse? The reason they're reaching out to you is to see if you can solve a problem, usually a big problem, and relatively quickly. The last thing you need to do is dump on your motivated sellers, telling them about your problems. Tell me in the comments, and tell me if this is true. Does it drive you nuts outside of family? Like family always dumps on you. There's no other way around it. Outside of family, like your friends, your colleagues, everybody you work with, does it drive you nuts when people tell you every little detail about what's going on and what's negative in their life? I don't know about you, but I just kind of tune it out. It's not that I don't care, but I've learned in my adult life that if you absorb every single problem everybody has around you, it just weighs on you. And it's not that you don't care, it's just exhausting. So here's what the human nature does. It's like, oh, let me one up you. You think that's bad. This is what happened to me today. This happened to me yesterday. People just don't care. Let me give you an example, okay? Tony Robbins, in my opinion, one of the greatest communicators on planet Earth. The guy just cuts to the truth and gets stuff done. When he gets on stage, he does not sit there and dump on people for 30 minutes and tells them everything is going wrong in his life. Do you think he's got issues? Yes, everybody has issues. You have to understand, if you keep telling everybody about your issues and your excuses, they start to avoid you and you can't get anything done. So the sooner you understand this, so, Olivia sees it right here. It just drives me crazy. And sometimes, do you ever feel like you're a dumping ground for people? Like, okay, hey, look, let me give you this bad news today. This is what happened to me. And then as human nature, we start trying to one up them. Until you understand this philosophy, guys, nobody cares about your excuses. The only reason people put out an excuse, and it could be, I can't wholesale because of this, or I can't work today because of this. Outside of physical health, which we all have bad days. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about people's everyday drama. Even the bad stuff, people just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't care. And if you do it too much, you're going to be labeled a toxic person and everybody steers away from you. And if you're that person, number one, just be accountable for it. Number two, start being aware of it and just try to stop yourself and keep using your willpower to move forward till you discipline yourself to stop dumping on others. You can't do it in wholesaling because I promise you, your motivated sellers will dump on you. So now, guys, I sit here and tell you I have ADHD just because I'm just trying to make it relatable. I'm not dumping on you. It's just Sometimes I have to explain the way I speak, and I get excited. I have fun with what I do, but like that's it. Now, if I go to why ADHD can't let me do this and it won't do that, if the story helps, then I'll do it. But if the story's just like, oh, poor Rick, nobody wants to hear it. And that's my biggest challenge with people with excuses. And that's why I always tell when we come on and we do the lives is if you don't want to do a solution, you don't want to move forward, I cannot go back in time. You've got to go get a specialist for that. And you're going to pay them about $150 an hour to hear your problems. And I'm not dissing on that industry, but you have to move forward. Life constantly changes. I thought through a meeting of grown men today, and we had to make a decision on a very large financial commitment. And you know what the biggest argument was? The gentleman raises up. One of the board members says, I don't want change. And I go, I'm sorry, change is inevitable. Nobody can stop change. You can temporarily stop it, but change always moves forward. And we have to understand that. So we have to lose all excuses because we're not going to get anywhere. This next one's a huge one. And boy, did I learn this one the hard way. And if you're more of like kind of an empath like me, if you're more of like ADHD, you kind of make much more impulsive decisions, you're going to relate to this one. You have to remove your emotions from any business decision. And honestly, this will help you out in your personal life too. If you constantly react to people, which I work on it on a daily basis, but like I'm extremely aware of it now. Extremely. When I was younger, I was all over the board. The problem is in business is you can't let emotions make decisions for you. So the reality is us as wholesalers, we do very well with connecting with people who make emotional decisions. But if you turn it around and use it against yourself, it's a nightmare. And if you get an emotional confrontation with a seller, you're going to lose because you're never going to beat them on that. So we have to make business decisions. We're going to deal with irrational people. We're going to deal with crazy banks. We're going to deal with title companies. We're going to deal with buyers, sellers, and they get emotional. And when they don't like what you have to hear, it gets really emotional. If you try to match that emotional energy, you lose. Remember, emotions just people just wearing their stuff out on their sleeves, and you cannot play poker if you wear your emotions out there. I'm not asking you to be a numb person, but you've got to understand when you go into business, especially when we're dealing with motivated tellers, you should be absorbing 80% of the information telling you. And if you're constantly trying to match them, you're not going to get an 80-20 relationship. It's actually going to be probably the opposite, and you're not going to get deals on it. So at the end of the day, you go home to your family, you take great care of them. If you want to have a long talk with your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, that's the time to do it and kind of work through your emotions on it, but look to always progress. If you wear your emotions on your sleeve, like, right down here, it's brutal in business, man. Why? Because when I'm in business and someone starts yelling or gets super excited, I go in even deeper composure. Why? Because he or she who has the most control will typically dominate the conversation. It's just a game I've learned well. And you got to understand when you wear your emotions and you go out there publicly, you just can't get stuff done. So, like, let's face it, we all know personal relationships and family. You even have to learn it in family. And sometimes you have to walk away from conversations because it's your family. Like you love them, but you didn't pick them. So when it comes to business, you 100% pick who you do business with. Screaming and yelling at people and like getting excited, like does not help you in business. And if you don't understand that and identify it, you cannot have a scalable business because everything's going to be a knee-jerk reaction. Like today, I got hit with some serious expenses. I had no idea were coming in. I didn't budget for them. I'm a little bit upset about it, but I have to move forward to transact to finish a big deal I'm doing. That's just how business works. Did I want to throw a temper tantrum? I did, but I internalize it. So here's my temper tantrums now. I bottle it up a little bit. I try not to bring it in any business negotiation because once you show your emotions and put them out there for a business setting, you are at a huge disadvantage. People kind of know how you react. Now they know how to work you, and you really can't play the game any longer. So here's what I want you to do is take that emotion if you're pissed off or upset, and take it, go on a long walk, go on a run. I don't know, go see your favorite movie, go put on your headsets or go to the gym. That's what I do. You got to channel the energy and make it good. If you just sit there and scream at someone, it's just going to kill you. I believe we all have to have outlets to do it. But guys, this one right here, I'm telling you, it's one of the biggest ones you have to understand. Um, Nick says, I give a lot to have Rick's problems. But like, here's the thing is we all have problems. It doesn't matter if you're broke or you're well established. Everybody has problems. But if you have more money and you have more time and skill sets, the problems are much more manageable. By the way, I've never met anybody in life that does not have a problem. Problems are part of life and it's how we learn. And if we didn't have problems, think about how weird life would be. Although I'm not opposed to learning that, but it is what it is. So we have to understand that. So moving on to the next one. This one's huge, man. And it's literally what I mean. It's like cut the fat. If you are not where you want to be and you've decided you want to take a new direction via wholesaling or whatever it is, you got to understand that life that you took, that you've been doing, it didn't work. It doesn't mean the people are bad in it, but if you use that same blueprint to apply to your new wholesaling business, you're not going to make it. Why? Because habits tend to follow you no matter where you go. Guys, tell me, if you switch from one business to another, if you have a same bad habit with your time management or anything like that, you're going to do the exact same thing. So when I say cut the fat is take an inventory of everything you hate about what you're doing in your current life business. And if you're deciding to make a change or even a transition, which we're going to talk about, you cannot bring your former self to your new self. And this is where the uncomfortable part of wholesaling shocks people. Because if you're a 9-to-5 employee, you're okay making 75, 80 grand, whatever it was. And then you go, hey, listen, I want to make 100,000 a month. You're going to have to lose your former self to become the new person. Now, it doesn't mean you lose the love and the value for all your family and friends, but you are going to have to cut some fat out of this diet to make it work. You're going to have to wake up early and you're going to have to manage your time and you're going to have to set up the time blocking for stuff that produces income generating activities, talking to people, writing contracts and marketing. And if you're going to sit here and bounce around on your phone and do all this stuff like that, you are going to have the exact same lifestyle you had before. So if you think you're going to make the switch to wholesaling and you're not going to change how you operate in life, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. So what you have to do is make that change. You have to make the commitment. Whatever you did before and it doesn't work, you have to decide to make a change. And this is where people get lost because it gets wildly uncomfortable and it's terrible. And you feel like crap while you're doing it. But what you're doing is you're churning into the new self you need to be. And all you know is the old self. And you're in this constant battle to go back there no matter what happens. Remember, you made a decision that wasn't going to work out for you. And now you want to take a leap and you follow my directions, and it makes you uncomfortable. And then you have a decision. You can keep fighting through the pain, which is like a bad workout, but you have to focus on where you want to be in the end of the game. Because if you keep focusing where you came from and how painful it is, you're just going to give up and quit. And that's the problem with it. So unless you make that change and commitment, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of people fail in wholesaling is they're just so stuck in their old former self. And if it's something you didn't want, why are you bringing the same rules to the game? You have to change them. Like, you guys got to evaluate the word, I'm going to try. Like, I hear the word try, I cringe. It's like, I hear the word job, I cringe. Job means slavery to me. Guys, I did it for 12 years. So I walked that journey. It sucked. It didn't get me anywhere. When I heard, well, Rick, I'm going to try wholesale, I'm like, don't even bother. The word tries is I'm going to try it 1 or 2 times. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to quit. You have to go in there just like a UFC fighter and you got to go, dude, I'm going all in. Like, and you're not going to get hurt doing it. So you're not taking the same risk as they are, but you're risking your family's financial future. You got to take that change. So remember, I'm kind of bouncing all over on this. Because I had to sit down. It's kind of like a Rick rant. That's why I do this channel. So we need to find the lists and channels that work and remove the ones that don't. So the reality is you've got to be honest with yourself. I was never a cold caller, but to be honest with you, no one taught me cold calling and I didn't understand it. And I shied away from it. And until Zach kind of brought into my company when I'm doing it, I realized I made a huge mistake. And if I did it from the get-go, I would have completely dominated wholesaling. Don't get me wrong, I still dominated with the stuff I did, but if I just took the risk and the uncomfortability of doing that, and you're talking about a guy who loved the door knock. I had no problem door knocking. I love people face to face, which is the only downside to the internet, by the way. But anyways, you guys don't have to plane and do all that other stuff. So what we mean by this is when you find you guys, I always tell people try to pick one marketing channel in the beginning. Most of you lean towards cold calling and SMS, which is perfectly fine. But you've got to understand sometimes they just don't work. So if you're going to struggle cold calling and you know it's just not going to be a good fit, be brutally honest with yourself. But some of you have to do it due to financial constraints, or maybe you don't have a car or anything like that. It is the most efficient way to contact as many people as humanly possible to see if they want to sell their property. That's why cold calling is so dominant in the marketplace, especially for wholesalers. But so I did TV ads for a long time. Oh boy, I spent a fortune. I barely broke even on them. Like we tried and tried. I've tried radio. It's not a good fit for me because, as you know, with radio, it's much more of a general area. It's going to cover like a 200 to 300 mile range. So it's hard to get it for specific. And I've tried all the local stations. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars between TV and radio. And I've learned in the long run between my own business and all the other business, there's just some things don't transcribe in wholesaling. And so, but like, listen, I've had other people have success with it. Maybe I don't believe in it. It's hard to scale and it is definitely not for the beginner. But the problem is I want a return on my investment. I don't want to just get by and break even. So what I'm saying is when you do your marketing and you start dealing with customers and your closings, you're going to identify certain areas that like you get excited about and you think you can do some real damage. And that's the way to really progress in the business. Don't keep doing the same things that are never making you any money. So instance, if you did direct mail for 6 months and you didn't get a deal, you did something wrong. You either got bad advice or you got a bad blueprint and you need to fix it or stop it because it's not going to get it better. It's only going to get it worse. On the flip side, if you started direct mail and you gave it 2 weeks and you quit because you didn't get a lead, you definitely don't understand direct mail and you shouldn't be doing it. So understand when you get into it, if you pick 2 or 3 channels, you're usually going to find one you dominate in, and then you keep testing. By the way, I've been in this business 20 years. I never stopped testing. I never stopped testing. The minute you stop testing, I promise you, you're going to miss out on some sort of channel. Now, here's the problem. Gurus and coaches know this. This is why they sell you the shiny object syndrome. I'm going to teach you innovations. I'm going to teach you a strategy where you don't have to own the property. I'm going to teach you how to fix and flip. I'm going to teach you how to do lease options. I'm going to teach you how to do options. I'm going to teach you how to be an Airbnb and make millions of dollars to do it. They know all this. This is why they do it. And we all fall suckers for it. I've been a sucker for it. A lot of you have. And in the beginning, you got to stick to the core of wholesaling and understand the fundamentals of it, and it will make a tremendous difference. Down the road, if you want to dabble and explode in it, because you guys have kind of understand by now how this business works on that. Next one. You got to plan your day. If you do not plan your day the night before, your day will be planned for you and it's going to be crap. Sorry. If you can't take 10, 15 minutes out to plan out your next 24 hours ahead of time, you're going to struggle. You're never going to make $100K a month. It's impossible without doing it. So I take 5 days a week and they are all planned out. Now, you should already have about a quarter of your schedule booked out. You should be reviewing your budgets. You should be reviewing your marketing plans. You should be looking at key meetings with employees or with yourself or your spouse, whoever it is, and try to hit your key target numbers. And then you plan on a monthly basis, and then you're doing weekly, and then I get it, stuff comes up. Now, here's what I don't do. I do not plan 24 hours of my day out. I do time blocks, 2-hour time blocks. That's the most I'll do because why? I know how I am. I need a break. I did not get in this business to work 24 hours a day. And people go, I'm just going to work. I'm going to out hustle. Dude, go for it. But like, if you're going to be in the business 20 years, there's no way you got into wholesaling to leave your corporate job to work twice as hard. I'm sorry. Even if all the money in the world was there, why would you do all that? That sounds like misery to me. And that's the risk you run when running these large scale teams. The truth of the matter is, you can only scale wholesaling so far. So wholesaling, the real fruits of wholesaling is the assets you can purchase in the long run. Initially, we're generating cash to get free. Then you can collect whatever you want. You can take some rental houses, you can cherry pick some hotels, and eventually pick up some small commercial properties. And that's how you get financially free, guys. So many people right now are trying to sell you this big, one day it's 10 houses, then it's 15, then it's 30, then do a deal a day, then 45, 50. Guys, that takes a staff. And if you want to do that, that's great. But I'm here to tell you, to sell it to you as a beginner is a waste of my time and your time. You got to get at least 2 years under your belt before you can even consider it. And how hard do you want to work? Because I'm going to be honest with you, there's other industries, if you had to put in those kind of hours, you'd probably do better. The overhead is tremendous. You will be married to an office, chained to a desk, and you're going to do tons of meeting. Now, if it fits your lifestyle and that's your, go for it. I don't care. I hate that stuff. I like freedom. I like to do what I want. And I'm not here to tell you I'm going to make the most amount of money, but I promise you I'm going to have the most amount of fun and I'm going to enjoy it, because I got stuck in the 80-hour-a-week corporate job, and that wholesaling was my freedom to get out of it. So plan your day, or your day gets planned for you. We're almost done here, I promise. The next one, when in doubt, just market more. You can never market enough in this business, especially in the beginning. Do I need to repeat that? You have to market like crazy. Why? Because you have zero momentum when you start out, and then you just keep marketing and I never stop. Now, the really cool part is I've done this so long, I never have a shortage of deals. And even if I took a break, which I never would, I still get at least 2 to 3 deals given to me every month, just from all the networking I've ever done with people. And then I add on what you guys do, and then we add on our regular business. And guys, I'm full. This is why I don't go on 7 days a week and I don't do coaching. Why? Because I only want to work with people that really want to do it. The reality of coaching is they make it so super sexy. They'll take anybody. You pay them a fee, and then they know only about 5 to 10% of you guys are going to do anything. And they take full advantage of it. And it's terrible. All you have to do is double down on your marketing. Okay, this next one's going to be a shocker. It's going to be a real shocker. You better, if I had a hat, I would hold it on right now. You ready? You got to always tell the truth. We have a big phenomenon happening in wholesaling now. And it started around 2014, especially 15. I saw this shift. The amount of lying going on in this business is catastrophic. It's terrible. You can't believe anything what anybody says anymore. And my God, if it's got a paid ad onto it, why would you ever believe it? It's a one-sided conversation and a one-sided outcome. I don't care what you say. I believe in advertising, but it's gotten so diluted with social media. People can do paid ads. They can do paid publishing. Heck, did you know you go stand in front of the New York Stock Exchange if you write a check big enough and get your name on there? There is nothing you can't do that you can't buy anymore. So the old days of getting publicized and stuff, you had to earn it. I don't believe one publication even out there anymore. So you now have to find channels where you can find people that are of authority, people you can trust and actually do what they say. And you're going to struggle in wholesaling finding that. And I get attacked on this on a daily, if not weekly basis. I'm not part of the posse. I don't join, hey, come speak at my event. I speak at yours. There's a reason I don't speak at events, because I know what I do is correct. I know I'm authentic, and I know it's true. So if I have to go out and sell it and travel all over the country, why would I give up all my time to do that? Listen, I've been to every type of seminar, and at the end, I've been to every one of them. At the end of the day, they are all 100% pep rallies. That's all. It's all to get in your back pocket. Some of them provide some pretty cool services, but for the most part, at the end of the day, they're in, they're out, and you're gone. And you're stuck there, and then you got to figure out how to do the marketing. And then You know what you guys do? You come on the lives with me and Zach, and we tell you, hey, that's a crappy deal. This is what you need to do. Let's go. And I just tell you the truth, and it hurts. And you're like, you know what? You save me a lot of time and aggravation. That's what we need in this industry. And that's the movement I want to go towards. And if you want to be a part of it, you're in the right place because I just tell the truth. You will not find one guru to endorse me. And I love that part of it. You know why? Because the day a guru endorses me, I'm probably in trouble. Because every guru is uncomfortable around me and Zach. Why? We just tell the truth. There is a big difference when you tell the truth and you're just marketing for people's coaching dollars. It is a tremendous difference. So I don't need everyone to agree with me on this. Honestly, I don't care because I'm set in my ways. I know what the truth is, guys. I have fought this battle. I'm in 21 years in wholesaling. There's very few people that haven't seen more than I have in this business. I love this business. Something happened in 2014. I can't really I think it's mostly social media and the advent of the internet and everybody getting access to it. And now everybody's like a rock star. So I'm just here to tell you guys, the amount of success stories you see on the internet and the reality, it's like night and day. I don't even know how to tell you this. It just drives me nuts. Okay. So what I'm going to do is do the last thing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I had a corporate job for 12 years before I started wholesaling. I did not break free till I was 33. And I'm here to tell you, I did everything wrong. I went to college. I'm not saying college is wrong. My son went to college. My daughter went to college. But to me, it's just basic education. It is not a skill set to make money. I still think it's a trade school for medical, for engineering, and for law. I'm probably missing one or two. You guys can let me know on it. Outside of that, if you go to college for business, unless you go like the School of Wharton or something like that, in my opinion, you're better off just working for someone for a small fee and learn their business and work with them. And you can decide to eventually go in as a partner or go off on your own. That's how business works. And the sooner you figure that out, because the colleges, like somebody graduating from college to come in my business for wholesaling, I have no interest. Like, I don't care. Honestly, I'm a little bit concerned. So the secret of college students from people like me that employ them is the reason I like college students. You know why? Because if I'm hiring for a job and say I got a marketing position or a social media position, it's, do you comply and will you do what I tell you to do? Oh, you went to college, most likely you will because you comply to it. It's just the truth, guys. Now, if I want a social media specialist or someone to do a creative marketing campaign, I don't want you to have I'm never going to penalize you having a college degree, but I promise you what the professor taught you is not going to help you or my business. If anything, it's going to be the opposite. So I love to hire people go, listen, I went out on my own. I tried this. I did that. I had success here. I failed terribly at that. My favorite people in the world to hire because they understand how life works. Somebody decided college was this magic permission slip to do whatever you want. So here's the reality of college, guys. So, you know, college is the best way to go to find a good or high paying job. That's it. It was never designed for someone to go out on their own. So keep in mind, I went to college. All my siblings went to college. My kids have gone to college. My nephews, nieces, everyone's gone to college. But it is no longer the thing that makes you above the pack. Actually, it puts you at average, if not below the pack, in my opinion now. You have so many choices right now. So if you're a young person, hear me loudly. Do what you need to do to fulfill the life you want. And stop being scared and living under your parents with it. And if you're going to go to college, just get through it quickly as you can. And it should never be the best time of your life. And if it is, you don't have a lot to look forward to. It's just the truth. So, okay. So back to this. So I had a job. I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. You know, you can be your own boss. The reality was, I had to wash cars. I worked 10 to 12 hours a day, and I was a good little soldier. And I moved, I think, 4 times with the company. And right when I had Zach, I decided I can't do this forever. And that's when I started like thinking about it. It took me years to make the decision. Why? Because I was scared to death. So a lot of you like this are watching it. You're like, man, I was just like, I can't keep doing this. I hated my boss with a passion. and I decided not to do it. So I found, I didn't, so here's the secret. I didn't find wholesaling right off the bat. I found real estate investing. And then from there, I ran out of properties to buy because I was going to buy 10 homes and then retire in 10 years. And that all fell to hell. And then I figured out wholesaling. And then I went all around the country trying to find people to help me do it. Honestly, even back in 2003 and 4, people were ripping me off left and right. It was just a much bigger scale. Today, it's a smaller amount, but the amount of people chasing you are even worse than I've ever seen. It's like the Wild West. So here's what I did, guys. I decided I had 24 hours in a day, and my 8 to 12 hours at work was nothing. Like, the reality is you only spend about 2 quality hours there. And so I decided on my lunch break, I did driving for dollars. I even did bandit signs, and I even started a direct mail campaign after I got a few deals under my belt. And lo and behold, I think around the 7th to 8th month, that's when I went to my boss's office and tried to quit. And he did everything in the world to try to keep me on. And it's just kind of funny. Now I'm a valuable employee when they ignored me for 12 years. And the rest is history. I just went in. But here's the deal is, guys, there's 24 hours in a day. So my go time, I didn't get home till like 6:30 and 6:30 to 9:30. So I spend 3 hours 5 days a week minimum marketing like crazy. And then I tried to schedule all my appointments for Saturday. Now, today's age, that's not as easy to do because people want to meet with you quicker, but you always have your nights and your evenings. I want everybody to be safe doing this, but if you think you have a 9 to 5 job and you're stuck, guys, there's 24 hours in a day. Like, most quality businesses are not built on 8-hour workdays. It's a facade. It's BS. You're going to put in more hours in your first 2 years in wholesaling than you are in your corporate job. It's just the truth. Why? Because you need quantity and you need a skill set to learn. And then once you do that, you can transfer over and do that. But without it, you got to put the work in. There's no way. So I would do 6:30 to 9:30. That was 5 days a week. And then Saturday was wide open to do whatever I need. And then Sunday, I tried to spend more time with the family, but I'm going to tell you, I did a lot of marketing and a lot of meetings on Sunday. So I did that for 7 months nonstop. I made decent money, but remember, I had a regular job. And I decided when my regular job was going to hinder my wholesaling operations, I would quit. And until I hit that point, I waited. And I think it worked out really well for me because if I quit from day one and did wholesaling, I probably would have created a lot of anxiety and fear like a lot of you guys have. And it's okay if you want to do both. I did it. So I'm not a hypocrite. Like, I had a mortgage, guys. I had a family to take care of. I had 2 young children, and it was not an easy decision for me. Why? Because I had very little guidance for people to walk me down that path at that time. Now you guys have people like me and Zach. There's tons of other wonderful people out there. Here's the challenge. You have to find someone that's going to tell you the truth. And that's the challenge in this business. And that's the part that I'm beyond frustrated. The amount of lies and deceit going on in this business, like, you just, if you ever go to a seminar or any type of pep rally, if you ask a challenging question, I almost guarantee you're going to be lied to, or you're going to be escorted out of the arena. Guarantee it. Why? Because I've done this my entire career. Whenever that's why I stopped going to them, because the minute someone who knows what they're talking about says, well, how do you define profit? Or, hey, can you show me a HUD you recently did? And they keep showing you students. I already kind of know what's going on with it. And the minute you do that, you're asked to leave. And it's not nice. And I see it all the time. So if you know that's going on, that means they're looking for people that aren't going to ask questions, that just want to buy the dream. Because, guys, you can buy the dream, but you have to do the work. And if you think you're going to separate the two, you are going to get crushed in this business. So I want you to understand that. So if you guys want to jump on the lives, I have openings. So do me a favor, make sure you jump into that. And let me jump in the comments here. I will put the link up right now. I want to help people out today. Let's see here. So I'm going to put it in the link, even though I put it in the top part, because someone's asking me here. So if you want to do the link, just go ahead and put it up there. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry, I had somebody at the studio door. So I put it on there. If you want to jump on there, that would be great. So, let's pull up Nate here. He's got a long one. What's up, Nate? Be cool if you hopped on live with it. I could probably do it easier, but we do the pending thing because we get so much spam. So it's nothing against you, Nate. But if we didn't filter it, like you guys would never even see a post like this. So he's got a deal for 2 properties. The ARV is around 230 and 280. The homeowner is asking 440 for both. So that puts us at what's that? 510, 540. He has tenants that he says he keeps that we could keep if we wanted, and he gets $3,000 a month for them. So I don't know if that's individual or each one of them. So if you want to send me a message and let me know, we still have a few years left on them, and the property doesn't have one of the properties doesn't have a central AC. Is this a good deal? I think it is, just because we want to share more of it. So, I mean, it's okay, but it sounds like you got an old roof and you're missing an AC. So, Nate, what I want you to do is, obviously, it sounds like you already negotiated with them. You got to use the technique of like going for no. And here's what I always do. Guys, when you have multiple properties paired together, and especially if you're brand new, the easiest thing to do is ask them for the most tired, weak, problematic property. So I'm probably going to pick the one with the bad AC and just focus on that property. Because when you start putting properties together, you can get one good one, one bad one, and it makes it very complicated for a beginner to break it down. So you want to do apples to apples. That's so $3,000 of rent for both of them is horrendous. So the last thing you would ever want is that tenant. And you cannot sell it with that tenant because nobody else would accept that as a cash flow, because those are brutally low numbers. So what I would do is go back and look through like freewholesaling.com. Once again, you'd have to dive a little bit deeper in the ARVs on it, but the rents are way off. You got old roofs and you got one bad AC, and your average AC, I'm going to assume, is $5-6 grand for a central AC. And I don't know how big the properties are, but like you do have some damages you got to account for. So you really got to get down to the seller's motivation of why they want to get rid of this property. Sounds like he doesn't have very quality tenants, because if you're renting $1,500 each for a $230,000 to $280,000 property, that's way below rents. So unless I'm missing something, so you got to dig deeper and see if there's more motivation there. So, hold on, let me answer a couple more questions. I got Dante coming up here. Okay. So the link's in there, guys, if you want to jump on. And I got time to take on a few more here. So first come, first serve. So let's see. So Nate, it's in PSL. So you know you're in my backyard, right? So if you want to reach out, if you want to send me some more details before you go into the final negotiations, support at Flip with Rick, and I'll take a look at it and put Nate in all caps. And I'll look at it, my team. Either I'll look at it this evening or first thing in the morning. I get up pretty early. So I love Port St. Lucie. I do this stuff with my eyes shut. So share privately with me some addresses on that, support at Flip with Rick, and I'll help you out with it. But I think you need help talking to the seller, because those rents are brutally low for this area. Just letting you know. But I do them all the time. Dante, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on, man?
How's it going, man? I'm just getting started, and I was just kind of looking for, I guess, some direction. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place with my markets. So my local market's in California, Northern California, and so I'm kind of debating if I should just full focus everything going virtual, or should I do part-time, half and half, or.
So when you say North California, because you have a very large state there.
That is pretty huge, yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like, so I understand where San Francisco is. How much further north?
That's about it. I'm in the San Joaquin Valley, so underneath Sacramento, right outside of like San Francisco area.
Okay. So, I will tell you, my son did a video, I want to say it was 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
talking particularly about a few markets in California. I didn't memorize them because your state's so confusing to me. It's so dang big. Um, there's more pockets in north than there is south, but you can go back and check out that video that, like the best wholesaling markets, even in like what we consider high price markets. But at some point, you're going to have to venture off and do some sort of virtual because it's not going to be enough to feed you, especially in the beginning. It's just the truth. Like, I'd like to tell you it is, but I don't meet the only people I see that really doing well in California. They've been established for like a long time, and
Right,
they've
right.
got the capital to deal with the big, million, $2 million plus types of deals. So if you're going to look in California, you got to look in the counties that you're looking to facilitate. Just look at the average home sale prices and do some math. Now, the good news is you don't really need money to do wholesaling. So you're not technically buying the house, but you got to keep in mind the higher the price point you go, the more sophisticated the sellers tend to be, and they have less of a desire to work with a wholesaler. It doesn't mean they don't, but statistically, they're harder and harder to get you to work. If you throw in your brand new to the market, it makes it very challenging. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
not, you can always do something, but it's kind of like, do you want to jump in and fight like a trained 15-year, UFC martial art expert? Or would you rather grapple with the guy that just got out of like college or high school? And you already know
Yeah.
the answer to that because the one guy's going to kill you. The other one, at least you got a shot, and they'll kind of teach you as you go along. And that's the problem with California. Like I'm at a lot. Listen, I went to San Francisco for about 10 days.
Uh-huh.
I was in shock. Like, I mean, it's neat. I love the weather. I love the people, but the real estate's very confusing over there. And I have multiple friends that live in San Francisco. One of them's an incredible wholesaler and fix and flipper. But I will tell you, he takes tremendous risk. And in the beginning, you don't want to stake your family fortune on like one deal. You can't do it. Like that's not why we got in wholesaling, guys.
Right.
That's not wholesaling. When you take your family's like net worth and you put it on one deal and you're like, man, if this doesn't work, I'm done.
That's a
That's what we call you're a speculator, and you will eventually get caught every time. And that's what my friends do over there. And like when they hit big. But I've been
course.
there when they lost, and it is not a pretty sight. And they have to guess a lot. They guess a lot. And the market, and the problem is when you get in those higher price points, it takes much longer to sell them. And if somebody gets in a rehab, they really even take longer. And what happens as time goes on, massive market shifts happen, or interest rates shoot up. And that's why it's challenging in California. San Diego, oh my God, it's wonderful. Probably one of the top 5 places to live in this country. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Would I live there? Absolutely. But I'd probably be broke if I lived there because you need $3 to $5 million just to even stroke to have a place to live. And it's not even that great. 10, 20 million. So what you need to do is do your research on the average prices. And then I would start looking at virtual markets now. And the beauty about virtual markets, you can go anywhere you want in the United States. And you are looking for places where you can have easy success. When I say easy, I don't mean it's going to be brutally easy, but it's going to be a lot easier than the market you're doing right there. And on average, on a virtual market, it takes a few months to get it going because you're unfamiliar with it. But do you want to try to flip $1 million houses on wholesaling with very sophisticated sellers? Or you want to sign some markets where you can get them like 250 below all day long standing room? And we have turned into a global economy. And when I started out of wholesaling, I didn't even think of this strategy. And by the way, I did. I went to, I corrected in 2012, I went to Ohio, and I was in shock. Dude, I was buying houses all day long for 10 grand. I just couldn't sell them, and I got killed. And I stopped doing it because we didn't have the advent. The internet was much more challenging, and there wasn't a lot of sophisticated systems. But virtual marketing works, but it's just, you can't sit there and try to do $2 million homes trying to do wholesale because you're not going to get through the sellers and you're not going to get through the brokers doing it.
So I should just continue doing what I'm doing, kind of mix in or do half and half virtual, half local.
Yeah, listen, I always do local. I never stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in an area where it's like really expensive to live, but like I let everybody know what I do and they come up and but here's the difference. When you go in those higher price points, those sellers are a pain in the butt. It's a whole different, they're not really motivated. And so like it has to be something like you really want to do. So you got to go to virtual markets where you can find people that have a high motivation. So you're going to have to go into, I don't call them subpar markets, but find ones. But like if you go 100 miles or you go 3,000 miles, it doesn't matter. So find the ones that you're going to have success. It doesn't take a rocket science to point it out, and just go back through our YouTube thing. And me and Zach constantly, I think almost on a monthly basis, we update you on up and coming markets that we really like. I just recorded another one. Yeah, it just works. And some of these markets I'm in, guys, and that's why I tell you, like, and by the way, if you think I went there and did all my homework and figure out which market is, I just reversed engineered other wholesalers' egos, and I found out exactly what they did, and I just copied it. If you're going to put it out there for the world to see, just follow what they do. It's really not that hard, and put your own spin on it.
Okay.
So get on those cash buyers lists for those markets. Get on those forums, the social media sites, but make sure that the bragging is truthful. So how do you do that? You get on their cash buyer sites and you start looking to see if they're posting properties. A lot of these wholesalers, they sell properties just like they're a real estate agent, and it's all wrong. It's all illegal. So just reverse engineer. And if you see a property with pictures and they have a price and you see the same zip code, odds are they're probably telling the truth what they're doing. So just go hammer their market. End of story. And don't do what they do. You can't sit there and post pictures online, guys. That's selling real estate. It's not selling a contract. And you're going to get killed if you do stuff like that. So, and I'm going to tell you right now, avoid the temptation to go on MLS because everyone's selling a course on it. I'm having so much success, but nobody can ever show us examples of how they're doing 10 houses a month on MLS because you're not. Those houses, they want full retail. They're there for a reason. Every now and then one slips through the crack. If you want to do that method, you're better off networking with real estate agents and teaching them before the property goes on the market, because once it's on the market, it's fair game for everybody. So I teach realtors, like, listen, if you ever have like a crappy house, like, you know, it's going to be painful and you don't want to have an open house, you don't get this fixed up, I'll pay your full commission and buy it. We just got to work out a fair deal. Can you at least give me a shot before you list it? And if you get it before you list it, you have a great shot. Once it's on the market,
it's over. Why
are they going to take your offer the first day? So we just put another property on the market. We got 5 contracts the first day. It's like 50% of the value. And, you know, they all have the exact same template. I know it's the exact same course that's sold all over the country. Guys, if you want to write thousands of contracts with little to no success, sign up for these courses because it's a crap show. It's terrible. So if I fix the house up and I get it nice and clean, even hotel, and I throw it in the market, why am I going to take a 50% discount on day one?
Doesn't make sense.
No. Now, if it's sitting there 3 or 4 months, let's talk. Like, I'm not stupid, but I'm here to tell you guys, you have to, it's not rocket science. Dude, there's so many markets in the country that are just wide open right now. So people are going to states where they feel there's less oversight. I'm not going to get into political parties, but people don't want to pay income tax and people like warm weather. So just do the math. I tell you right now,
I got you on that.
Alabama is brutally, like, it's so affordable, the whole dang state. It's a joke. It's like, it's not a bad place to live. And so, like, they've been giving away Alabama forever. And I know a couple of you guys are going to get mad at me but like, I love it. I'm not in Alabama but I'm just telling you, it's easy. It's like good people, good prices, good weather, low taxes. How long do you think states like that are going to be affordable? They're not.
Right. No, it's
so the lower the price point you get, the more action you can get on it. And that's the reason why you want to avoid like really high priced areas. But like if you grew up there and you know California, you can still sneak a deal or two. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's all timing because you can't make those people sell.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of, like, you know, the footwork that I can't do virtual, like you know, reverse drive for dollars, stuff like that here in California, and then just trying to call in my virtual market. So I just kind of felt like I've been doing it for the last like 2-3 weeks now. I just kind of feel like I'm like all over the place. So I just want to know, like, is it better to just focus on virtual or focus on,
always do local. Don't ever quit
Okay.
because you just need one. And you're in an area where you can hit a major home run with a 6-figure deal.
Right.
So always stay there because eventually it pays off. The virtual is what will pay you every day and progress your skill set. Because
Okay.
listen, you put another zero behind a property, there's no real, it's the same thing. It's just the seller's more sophisticated. It's the truth. And they tend to hide behind brokers and stuff like that. When someone has $150,000, $200,000 house and it's got issues, they just want to sell it quickly. And it becomes a numbers game. And the more you do it, the better you get. I think there's more virtual investors out of California than any other state.
Yeah,
Why? Because the handwriting's on the wall.
Right.
You picked a wonderful place to live, but when you start making money in California, you're going to have to start figure out your state's crazy on taxes. Yeah, I have never seen a state like it's taxes, like people. Yeah. People come there out of state. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And like my friend shows me, I'm like, he goes, listen, my family's here. Everything's here. I get it. But like, it's tough, man. It's a beautiful state though.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat, man. A lot of my family's shifted to Nevada, so I think I'm gonna be heading there pretty soon, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have inundated Arizona, but Arizona, I believe they have a state income tax, but it's still people like it a whole lot better than California. But Utah's exploded. It's just crazy. Like it just seems like everybody's kind of moving, and the whole country's on a big shift right now. And so you don't have to guess it, but like it's not a rocket science, guys. Good weather, favorable taxes, below average prices. Like, don't look hard. And then just find a wholesaler that's running, he or she's running their mouth with their ego, get on their cash buyers list. And I'm going to save you $5,000 in expenses just by doing that. And the beauty about it is you can pivot and move if something's not working out pretty quickly. So I always go into a virtual market and I drill kind of like a gold miner. Instead of digging up the entire ground, I'm going to just do some test holes. So I'm going to reach out here. I'm going to do a list here. I'm going to test it out, and I'm going to give it 30 days to see if we're getting any traction. And sometimes we're like, uh-oh, I'm not spending a ton of time and energy digging in this area. And we go over this one, like, listen, we made 500 phone calls. There's 15 people want to talk to us. I think this is a great place to break ground. And then you just start attacking it. So sometimes just a little bit of test. Some places
that's
are
actually
weird, man.
So when you say that, like dig holes, like get like a government list and call it and see how many kickback. Yeah, okay.
Well, one of your best ways. But the challenge virtual, it's much harder to get the list because you can't go and get them in person. So it's like it's a yin and a yang type of deal. But that's where you use like List REI and stuff like that and do some of the paid lists so you don't drive yourself completely freaking nuts.
I noticed though in Alabama with a List REI, there's no pre-foreclosures. Do you know why that is? I mean, I can Google it, but
I don't know. Listen, if I'm going to do pre-foreclosures, you're better off just going straight to the county and getting it. It's going to be the most accurate, up-to-date information. You don't need. You got to understand any list service you can use for like a foreclosure it's going to be dated, and you're going to be behind everybody else. So if that's your strategy, just go straight to the county and look for the notice of default, and just catch it there. That's how I do it. So it's. And pre-foreclosures, I do an entire video on like what you've got, the sweet spot to catch them, because these people, when you deal with foreclosures and pre-foreclosures, you've never done like wholesaling, these people will tease you, man. Like it's torture. And what do I mean by that? Is like there's a sweet spot. And the sweet spot is always, in my opinion, right up to the notice of default. And then once they skip that and they just ignore it, they're going to go for the next 6 months and nothing happens. Why are they going to take action with you? And then they're going to call you right before it goes to auction and beg you for a miracle.
Right.
And you're going to be like, man, it's just like they're teasing me and they drive you nuts. If they don't take action in those first 4 months, I move on because I can't help them because the numbers stack up so high. There's nothing I can do. And I'm not hiring a lawyer at the end. Now, I have some skill sets to do it. I'm telling you guys, it's hard to do it in your state because you have to hire a lawyer. And you got to file petitions, and it costs money and time. And keep in mind, these people have no money. They definitely have no time. And so for you to take on a risk as a new investor is very risky. So catch them in the first 3 to 4 months. If not, move on. Because I was talking to the guy the other day. He goes, I've had 36 conversations. I go, she's just wasting your time. she's leaving you as an option if she gets served by the sheriff's office. And when the sheriff serves her, there's nothing you can do.
It's gonna be too late. Yeah.
So do
so
local.
Last thing, if you were
pick out virtual. I'm listening.
Oh, wait, one more time.
So stay entrenched in your local market, understanding you're not going to be doing 5 deals a month, and just try to pick out a deal two within a year. But remember, if you do a deal, you could potentially make 6 figures. That's how I do it in my little, my community. And then you go virtually to do some more numbers and really gain your skill sets. And then that skill set will pay off later down the road in your local market.
So in terms of the 3-1-1, I mean, would you, if you were in my shoes and you're doing like a hybrid, would you go day by day or just like half the, like hour and a half local, hour and a half virtual?
So the 3-3-1 is basically just kind of a rule. So if you had 10 hours, that's how you would delegate it, because some people spend way too much time on dispositions. You know why? Because they pay too much for the properties. And if they spent the time on the marketing and the acquisitions, you don't have to spend as much time in dispositions. I will tell you, disposition is a little bit more challenging in our current market, but you can't stop doing it. So in the beginning, it's a little bit wild, but like you have to go, okay, if I had 10 hours in a day, just theoretically, a third would have to be on the front end stuff, and then just like a 10th on the back end stuff. Now, to be honest, we've been spending a little bit more on the dispositions as of lately, just because buyers are a little bit weird about stuff. But you got to understand, Florida is a different world. It's like its own economic system. So I hear stuff happening all over the country, but we have virtual markets where we're spending a lot more time on cash buyers. But I understand how this market works. So to be honest with you, I told you in the beginning of this live stream, being a list ninja is the one skill set that if you put enough time in it, you can master it, because there's something about when you pull a list. So say you pull a list from listrei.com, you get it, and either you cold call, you SMS, or maybe even some of you guys do direct mail. I promise you, you are all in and you pay attention and you learn what works, what doesn't, and you make adjustments moving forward. Like for the longest time, somehow I get condos and townhomes on my list, and I had to learn how to click that little box to only do SFR. Single family. If you want to learn, like I teach it in freewholesaling.com, but there's a lot of little things you got to do to make sure your list gets right. And like you can nail down like your percentages, everything, and you just develop a pattern. So every list I do, I put it in a folder, and they got a little cheat sheet of all your filters. And then I either go up or down on a filter depending on the outcome of the last one I did. So if you went cold calling and you got your butt kicked and it didn't work, find out what you did wrong on the list, or find another way to pull that list. And eventually you just get better at doing it, and you get better at developing the gold map, as opposed to some people just dig with a shovel and they never stop. That's what a lot of you guys do. So sometimes you take the time and plan it out, but there's nothing more valuable than data when you get feedback when you do marketing. And that's why you got to do the 3-3-1 approach. Because if you do it any other way, you're just like, if you don't spend enough time marketing and understanding your list, you don't get anywhere on acquisitions. And that's the challenge. So in the beginning, in your first year in wholesaling, you have to become a marketing master, AKA a list ninja. And once you understand lists, at least you're in the area. So if you ever played Marco Polo, so we used to do as kids, we're in Florida. It's hot. You have to sit in the pool all summer. And then people would call out, you either get like hot or cold. You ever play that hot or cold game? You're getting hot, you're getting cold. A lot of you guys don't do it with your list. You put them in like it didn't work. And then you pull the same list and you expect the same result. You have to pivot and fix it. And by the way, sometimes a list that's worked forever suddenly stops working one day. And you're like, what happened? It happens. It's a market, guys. It shifts. But the one thing that's always constant is if you locate motivated sellers, you can have a massive amount of success. How you locate those motivated sellers is the skill set we're all trying to master. And the day you think you got it mastered, you're going to get your teeth kicked in. Because I've been doing this 20 years plus. I'm constantly keeping my head. Now, I know approximately where they are, but sometimes it goes left and right, depending on what you're doing. So you have to make adjustments. So lists are everything. So you got a game plan?
I got a game plan. Yeah, I've got a game plan.
Okay. Go get it, Dante. I'll talk to you. Let me help some other people out here. Okay. See you. Tammy, you there? Tammy.
Yes.
You there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have a question.
That's all right.
Hey,
Where are you from, Tammy?
I'm in Georgia, Atlanta.
How's the weather there today?
Today is right now it's in the 50s, but this morning it was freezing.
That's cold, man.
Well, it was like below freezing.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what's the weather? What's the temperature there?
It's like 65. It's not too bad, but when it gets windy, we're wimps in Florida, so we learn from people in Georgia. So
just like in California.
Oh my goodness. So what brought you on the live stream? Are you have interest in wholesaling or?
I do have an interest in wholesaling, and I've been at it now for over a year, like maybe March, maybe 12 or 13 months, and I haven't done a deal, but I've come very close, and I've made some offers.
Okay, well, you know where I'm at. If you have a question, you reach out, guys. What I do is basically like I teach anybody for free on how to do this business, so you guys just got to take the action. So I'm just showing you, Tammy. Do I bite?
No. I appreciate it. And I like listening to you and your son. Okay. You're very helpful. You're very honest, and I appreciate it all.
Okay, Tammy, go stay warm and go find a deal.
Thank you. I will.
Okay. Bye-bye. Rashad, you there? Rashad, I'm going once, twice. I'll come back to you. Okay. Let's see here. I had some online questions I got to answer here. So David asks, I get this question a lot. What's the ideal amount of leads to pull a week? Cold calling versus a week of texting. I just got the membership and not sure. So you get 10,000 a month. So it's up to you and how you attack it. Try to utilize as much as you can. 10,000 seems a little overwhelming when you begin, but as you learn in cold calling, you need volume to get through it. Now, you have to decide what you're going to do. If you're going to do texting, because you're going to have to, both services, you're going to have to skip trace. So you can use a combination of batch or prop stream, or you can use one or the other. We give you both options to do it, so it's completely up to you. But honestly, it's whatever you think you can accomplish. You just got to get it done. And whatever you're thinking, usually just double it in your head. The minute I go, I'll get 100 driving for dollars leads, I should have been going out and like chasing 250, 300, 400 and stuff like that. So you guys are much more capable of what you think, because most of us have a governor in our brain and it stops at about 40 to 50% of what we're capable of. So we don't get uncomfortable. But if you understand how the real world works, you have to push past it and get uncomfortable, because most people will not do the uncomfortable things. So let that help you answer that out. So Rashad, you back? I can't hear you. Now, can you hear me? Okay, work on the volume. I'm going to look for a question. Rashad, just turn your volume up. Can you hear me? Okay, he'll come back. Okay, let me finish these questions. And let's see here. What else I got? Okay. Hunter, are you there?
Hey, Rick.
Give me an update, man.
Yeah, okay, so today I did go to the courthouse and I pulled the probate list, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. But tell us about your experience there. Like what went well and what didn't.
It was pretty straightforward, honestly. I talked to her, like I said, I already spoke to her before, but once I got there, because I said they let you use the computers once you're at the courthouse. So once I was there, I was able to just get on it, and she showed me how to get to it and everything.
Okay.
And so I had to pay $4, but that was just a little bit of money.
Okay. So guys, anything that comes like $50 or less, or especially the 20, just pay it, because what's your time worth? Like, because just to update, you got like Hunter's been like chasing these lists and having some frustration, and he realized that sometimes there's just some list you got to go in person to increase your odds on getting. So what can I help you out with today? What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I have this. I was curious on. I got two questions. So one, whenever you pull the probate list, do you pull from the like a previous 30 days or like previous 3 months, or is it, what's the? Because I pulled for the previous 30 days. I don't know if that was
Yeah, I wouldn't go before 30 days because it's gonna sound terrible, but time speed kills in the probate. Like it's whoever can fortify a relationship and talk to them. By 60 days, every realtor, every wholesaler is usually hit them up by them. And here's the secret to probates, guys. God knows I've done this long enough. Most investors quit between day 30 and day like 85. Nobody has the stamina to do this. Oh my God, it's too tough. It's too challenging. Probate was never designed to give you like 10 leads every month. You usually get a couple calls, you connect with them. And guys, once you figure out how to get the list and you make it like manageable in your life, either pulling them online or pulling them physically, all it is you just use a simple form letter, which I provide for you free at freewholesaling.com. I strongly suggest put a little bit of your personal spin on it, change a sentence or two, because there's other people that use that letter. Sorry. That's just how it works. And then it is just a numbers game over time. But my average probate deal is like 2.5 times my regular wholesaling deal. So if you only do like 2 or 3 a year, then who doesn't want an extra like 50 grand in their life? And for those of you that are working at full-time jobs, probate is the way to go because it's not taxing. You don't have to be on call 24/7. It is better if you answer the phones live, but you're not going to get hundreds of phone calls. Sometimes I go a month or two with 0 phone calls. I don't care. As long as I keep doing it, because I know everybody who starts, they're going to quit. Nobody ever sticks out probates. They just, most people don't have the fortitude. And if they don't feel like they make instantaneous results, they quit. But you guys know in wholesaling, that's how the rest of the world works. You got to operate by a different set of rules. So 30 days is ideal. Don't ever buy someone's list or go in there and go, I'm going to pull the last 6 months because I'm super smart. It just is a complete waste of money and time. So 30 days and get it and then find a way. And then what I do, I say, how often do these update? And like some of my local ones, he goes, well, we only upload them every Thursday. So now I know I don't have to chase Monday through Wednesday. I'm not even going to bother. So we'll either, when I had to physically go and pull them, we go Thursday or Friday. And here's the problem is every county does it differently. They drive you freaking nuts. So find a system that's not going to drive you crazy. And guys, you don't need a print in a mail house to do probates. Take my free probate letter, put a little bit of your spin on it, put your blue ink on the bottom of it, and stick it in the mail. It's that easy. Do it from your home printer. Like I never, ever outsource my probates because we only do like 15, 20 in a week with all our counties. And if you're worried about cost, like it's less than $50 a month, period. If you do direct mail, cold calling, all that other stuff, it's very time consuming and expensive. So probates, a little tip, man, it's just a little bit of a side hustle, but my God, when it pays you, it's phenomenal. If you get a probate deal, they are hands down the easiest deals to wholesale. The problem is you're not going to get hundreds of leads every month. And that's why people freak out with it. So I didn't get my first probate till about month 4 in marketing and I was ready to quit. Thank God I didn't. So what else you got?
Okay. I was going to ask that. Like, so I got about, I think it's like 67. Is that like a low amount? I got about 67 on the list.
Is that for the county?
It's for the parish. Yeah, the county.
Yeah. So that's probably for 30 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. So,
okay.
If you want, if you want to test your market, look at the population size of the county, and you can do it on a percentage, and that'll help you compare counties. But honestly, I stopped doing that because there's like no rhyme or reason. Now, if you go to a big giant metro area, some of the numbers are big. Like yeah. I've seen 400 or 500, but it should be based on your population. So, but like. During the whole pandemic, you get the guys, they shut down probate for a long time. It was a nightmare. And then we did phenomenal for a year after there because it was all catch up. So listen, people don't stop dying due to a crisis. It's just the paperwork gets delayed. So But I will tell you, if you have the ability to pull it like once a week, you get online access or something like that, it's pretty cool. And for those of you guys in counties that you're having struggles with, you can work with title companies and lawyers. They get access to all that information as part of their system, but you got to have a relationship with them. You can't just demand it from people. But 67, yeah, that's healthy. I have a pretty small, I don't have a huge market like yours, and mine, like 2 of my counties don't even add up to be, maybe like 70, 75 on average. But I see some counties there's 10 or 12. It's painful, but it is what it is. So, have you decided how you're going to market to them?
Cold calling them to try, but that's my second question.
Yeah, and then just, dude, stick a letter in the mail. It's dirt cheap. And so here's the deal: is some people respond to cold calls, some respond to mail. Some of the older people, they like the mail. I'm just going to kind of let you know, but either way. And then how we did it when me and my son, when he introduced me to cold calling, I would put my name on the letter and he would be the one cold calling. So if he pissed him off in cold calling, I remember doing deals that like, the only reason we went with you is because you didn't cold call us. I'm like, we did. We just did the McDonald's Burger King approach with you. And so you could do stuff like that. It's some people just like mail, guys. I like, trust me, you're talking about a guy who does a lot of direct mail every month. It still works very well. But I don't want you guys starting off doing that because it's a skill set. So what else you got, Hunter?
All right, with the True People search,
Mm-hmm.
I just started looking at it and kind of putting it in here. I did one person. So do you like to do it? Do you just go to like, okay, so with it's like plaintiff and it says like the suit number, the date filed, the calls, and the attorney. But I search up their name and then how do you know if they have an address? Like how do you know if they even have a property that's for like?
Okay, so the whole purpose of True People Search, really, for your purposes, is just get their phone number. The rest of the stuff's irrelevant.
Well, if they pass, what do I do from there?
So remember, you're looking for the executor or the PR, not the deceased person.
Oh,
that's who you got to hunt for. So, if you didn't ask the question while they're at the courthouse, you can still go online and look. And on those documents, there's going to be a petitioner. That's the person who filed it. Often it's on behalf of a lawyer. And then there's going to be an executor or a PR, which stands for personal representative. That's the person who's in charge of winding up the deceased person's final affairs. That's the person you need. So you have to use that court document to find that person to skip trace it. Obviously, you don't want to skip trace a dead person because it doesn't matter if you get their phone number anyways. So that's the challenge. And I'm going to slide you. True People Search, it's not perfect and it ain't the best, but it is free. And for those of you guys on a budget, that's why we recommend it. If you want to step it up a level, you can use more advanced services, but they're going to cost you. So you're going to have to master True People Search. Full disclosure, we did it for a long time when we were trying to figure out when skip tracing was really hard. And I go back to the days of like Spokio, White Pages. I used to have to pay $2 to get a phone number, guys. Just how bad it. So now you can get it between 10 and 15 cents. So, and do not use VAs and do not let someone try to skip trace for you because you're just going to get ripped off. They're just going to sell that list to someone else and they're going to beat you to the punch. So you just got to play around with True People Search. I mean, it's free, but it's free. Like it gets annoying after a while, but it's fine for probates. When you do big giant lists, I would immediately switch over to a paid service because like some people only have so much time. But listen, some of you don't have the money for it, and that's okay. You just have to put in, this is what we call the sweat equity. So Hunter, I believe, is 18, so he can get his degree in this.
Yes. Okay. So you said I gotta find the like. Do I go to the clerk of court website to find that? Like, how would I go about?
So an extensive Google search for your county, there should be a probate division. But odds are you're looking for on the record you have, you're looking for the PR or the executor. And if all else fails, Hunter, if I can't get your question answered, you can't find it online, go back to the courthouse and say, listen, can you help me locate, it would be called the PR or the executor? And that's how they explained it to me. So don't make the same mistake most men do, and you can't ask for directions because we're just like too tough. Ask people because it saves you a ton of time. I'm not a lawyer, neither are you, unless you want to become a lawyer. Just get people to help you out. By the way, if you find a local title company, they'll navigate you through all this as well too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. Okay.
Okay. So dude, just use like this is what we're supposed to use our brains in school for, to like figure stuff out. The only difference is you're using it to figure out things that are actually going to make you money, as opposed to useless crap that goes in your head that you'll never memorize again. Like I did derivatives once in college. I still to this date don't even know why I did it, because I was told to. And I spent weeks, if not months, memorizing complicated formulas I'll never use again. This crap, you learn it once, it'll pay you the rest of your life. So the difference is we're going to teach you skill sets, and God bless you for being 18. You can actually get stuff that's going to be extremely valuable for the rest of your life. You got to learn stuff that's going to teach you the rest of your life, as opposed to the useless crap we learn in school, which we'll never, ever use again. So ask people. Don't be scared to ask. The only questions that you regret in life are the ones you don't ask. Okay?
Okay. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, man. See ya. So guys, just to give you an example, Hunter right there, every week he takes full advantage of this, and he's learning, and he's just like, he got frustrated trying to find these deals. I said, listen, you're just going to have to take it a step further. And you guys just got to learn to like just bust through the obstacles. Jocelyn? You there?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah,
Okay. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm currently in California,
Ah, what part?
Long Beach.
Ah, Long Beach. Okay. What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
So I have a couple of questions. Well, the first one is, I did find a home that is in probate. The only thing is, I do have a question. Is it still profitable if it's in a trust?
Yes. So houses are houses, guys. It doesn't matter if a corporation owns them, a trust owns them, an individual owns them. Like a house is a house. So most trusts get pulled out of probate or they skip probate. So are you talking in the state of California or another state?
Well, it's in the state of California. I actually got this from a friend because they know the person who was, deceased.
So you just said the most valuable thing. So you know what drives me nuts? Almost on a daily business, guys. I've been doing this for 20 years. Do you know how many people come by and go, "Hey, Rick, I found a foreclosure for you," and they wink at me? And you know what my question is every time? Do you know the people in foreclosure? No, it just looked like a good property for you. I will never even call or waste my time on it. Why? Because if you don't know the people that own the home, you're literally wasting your time. Because I can get that list. I can get a nationwide list in a snap of my fingers. Now, if someone goes, "Hey, my neighbor's house is being foreclosed on," and I spoke to her and she says, "Listen, she wants to get it sold." I go, "Hey, can you introduce me to her?" And that's how I do it every time. Because if you can get a warm introduction to anybody in a distress situation, you have a great chance at going. The problem is a lot of people won't let you through the door, cold calling text, and it's hard. So if someone gives you an introduction, it's like a free pass. It doesn't mean they're going to sell you the house cheap, but I promise you, you have a 50% increase in getting that deal.
Yep.
So like I have people I work with all the time. They go, "Hey, you're the guy, you flip a bunch of house." I go, "No, I go, yeah, I don't." So never explain wholesaling to people. It's just a waste of time. They think you're like this weird person. So
I've tried.
And whenever they go, "Listen, my friend's house, can I talk to your friend? Can we?" And right there, stop waiting 5 and 6 days. Just get on a call and go, "Hey, this is my friend Jocelyn. She buys houses like this all the time. I thought you two might be able to hit it off. Maybe you can help her out." And I always start off the conversation like this. I go, "Listen, I really appreciate you taking the time." I go, "No matter what, I'm going to help you out, even if I don't buy your house." It just puts people at ease, and you just go into the conversation. And I take more time with people like these because you really got to build a rapport, because I don't want my friend going, "Dude, what did you say to her? She's pissed."
Right.
And I'm like, "Really?" And just honestly, just sit down and have a conversation with them. It's actually it's so much easier when someone does an introduction. You're halfway there. You've done the hard work, which was get past like the wall. So when we cold call people, 95% of the people kick us to the curb because they don't know us. So if somebody introduced you, go, hey, this is my friend Jocelyn. Like, I think she buys houses like this. I'm not sure if it's a good fit. I figure I'd just put you two together and see if you can help each other out. That's it.
Okay.
And then just go in. And so many people are so scared to have the conversation. Just sit down and talk to them just like you would talk to like your friend. A house is a house. If you buy a car, a house, or a pen, it's just a number. That's it, guys. So why not go after the largest asset classes with house and try to make $20, $30, $50,000 in a shot as opposed to making $10 on all these little widgets that everybody else does. That's it. So my suggestion to you is don't wait. Because I see so many people because here's what happens when you wait. They go, well, I talked to this guy, he buys houses, and I signed a contract with him. You're like, so
I missed it. Right. I guess I was just really skeptical because it's in a trust, and like I think I couldn't find the video because I've seen a bunch of y'all videos. So it's like it wasn't one of them that said that the trust is a little complicated. So I just
here's the deal with a trust. A trust is nothing more than a legal document that people are trying to protect other people's interest in. So a trust is exactly what it says. A trust has a trustee. It sounds like this is a person you really trust, right? So trusts are formed. A lot of elderly people have it because they want people to help them make decisions for the better of the property. So I've seen them in tiny, tiny little $10,000 homes up to like $15 million mansions. So I never judge a book by its cover. And the idea of the trust is someone's making decisions on behalf of the property. Now, some trusts are a little more sophisticated than others, but at the end of the day, that person has the power to enter in the contract, which is the trustee, which is the person. So the trustee is your intermediary, and they relay the information to the homeowner. So they're kind of like a real estate agent in a way without the license. You could be a trustee. I've been a trustee at least 50 times in my life. And some people just like to be private and they don't want anything out there. The trust is never publicly recorded and you don't see it. It's there to keep everything confidential. And then they spell out usually with a lawyer on like, hey, they have the power to, hire people to work on the house. And then most of them have the authority to sell the house. So don't let it scare you. It's just like, think if your grandma was old and she hired you as the trustee because you make good decisions and you help pay her bills online on the other side of the country, then that's it. And you can open a trust for free. It don't cost a dime. Most people have no idea how to do them, but all it is an intermediary person. And just the only thing you need to know is who's the trustee. And if they're the trustee, they have the legal authority to enter into an agreement with you.
Perfect.
But sometimes people are very advanced with like their trust and but I bought plenty of properties that way. And 9 times out of 10, the owner doesn't even understand the trust. And the trustees, a lot of times they work for free and they just want to get rid of the property too. So do not let it intimidate you at all. All you are is looking for the trustee that you can talk to. And a lot of times without the homeowner being involved, you can remove that emotion out of it, but and it makes it easier. Does that help?
Cool.
It's easy. It's just like a regular person.
I guess I just needed to talk it out.
Yeah. Trustee. The trust hires a trustee, which is appointed by and then there's a beneficiary, so when the house sells, the beneficiary gets the money. And here's the best part is you don't have to understand it. Do you know what your primary job is, Jocelyn?
What?
Just to find people that are going to have motivation to sell. So I don't want you to become a lawyer and figure out a trust because you're going to have to study for the next 4 years doing it. And you're going to go deep in debt. If you get into an agreement with them, all you have to do is take the contract and give it to your title company and give them the trustee's information. They'll work out all the details. All you have to do is, if they agree to sell it and you want to buy it, let the title company do all the legal work. You don't have to touch that stuff.
Okay, perfect.
So many investors try. I got to understand a trust. I got to understand probate. Guys, I didn't understand any of that crap. That's why I got so successful in wholesaling, because I didn't get caught in the weeds. Our job is to go out and find motivated sellers. That's it. We have other people that will help us do all the other stuff we don't understand how to do. And that's how we become super confident in wholesaling. It's not trying to understand everything, because you'll never do it. You just got to figure out how to market and find people that are motivated and put deals together and then give it to a staff. And sometimes I sign up deals. Title company goes, "You're nuts." They go, "They don't even own the house." I go, "Okay, I'll try next time." And so if I write 20 contracts and 3 or 4 are like fall off, it's just business. That's it. I'd rather you write more contracts than less. So don't be scared about it. And if you don't know who the trustees or stuff, just have the person sign the contract, give it your title company, and they'll sort it all out. Period.
Okay.
Like, honestly, the skill set that you empower the most as a wholesaler is your ability to find people that need help selling their houses. And they're very motivated to do it. If you master that skill, dude, the rest of the stuff's so easy. Like, honestly, to this day, I still don't understand about everything in probate. You guys all think I'm a probate expert. I just know how to find people in probate and talk to them. That's my skill set. I do not want to study the legal law on probate. It's a nightmare.
Okay.
3,500 counties. They all have a different way of doing it. Don't do it, guys. Do you want to be a lawyer or do you want to be a wholesaler? Wholesalers make significant more money than lawyers if they understand their single primary job is to locate motivated sellers. Then I'll use a team to sort out the crap behind me, because you're going to have to pay the title company anyway, so you might as well get your bang for your buck. So I submitted a contract the other day. The title company's like, "You're nuts." I go, "Who needs to sign?" They go, "Well, she could sign, but you got to get these 3 other signatures." And I go, "Okay." And then I call back the seller. I go, "Hey, who are these 3 people? Can you help me get their signatures?" I go, yeah, that's my aunt, that's my uncle, and that's my niece. And that's all I do. How can we get in touch with them to get this done? They go, "I don't know." And then we start digging and keep going like that. So when you get off this call, I want you to jump on, because so many people wait. And when you wait, that's when other people strike and steal your opportunity. And you have to take accountability for it. So just have a conversation with them and talk to them. The introduction is everything in wholesaling. Oh my God. Because you didn't have to market for it. They just landed in your lap. And if the deal sticks, take your friend out to a nice dinner, take them on a cruise or something like that, because you got to take care of the people that take care of you. Okay.
That's right. I do have 2 more questions. I'm sorry. I've been wanting to hop on this call finally. Like, I finally did it. So
she's got the guts. I love it.
All right. So I do have this thing about, I do want to go down to like the county clerk or to the courthouse. And I also want to approach a probate lawyer, but I don't want to say anything on like the first time that I meet either the county clerk or the lawyer. 1, I want to learn, do I have to scout my probate lawyer? And 2, if I go to the county,
Go ahead, I'm listening.
And if I go either to the lawyer whenever I scout them and when I go to the clerk, is there certain things that I can say that may trigger them not to want to give me the list? Which I know there is certain ones, but I just, I know first impressions are everything.
Yeah.
So
well, listen, it's the effort that's equally as important, if not more important, than the first impression. Okay. Like, if somebody not tries, I hate that word. If somebody makes the effort, I know their intent's in the right place. Because when I started wholesaling, I made a lot of effort. I sucked. Like, everything I said was terrible. And I learned that wholesaling had nothing to do with selling, because I wasn't that good at it. I matched people up. So your first step is go to your county courthouse for probate. That's the first and foremost. You're going to get a great education there and ask a lot of questions. That's where you can fire away. "I'm just a regular tax-paying citizen. I'm clueless." You can just be yourself. The second one is you go to your title company. Okay. And then they'll help you kind of like, "Well, they told me this." They go, "Well, this is how it goes down." Then your third one would be a probate lawyer, but you don't need to talk to a probate lawyer right off the bat. When you want to talk to a probate lawyer is maybe when you have a deal and then they're a little bit more interested, because you can tempt them into possibly signing up that client or working with them through a closing if you're in like an attorney appointed state. So don't approach the attorney, because they're the one that's going to be the hardest to you off the bat. So do the county courthouse and do the title company first.
Okay, perfect.
What else you got?
I think that was it.
Okay. So get off this phone and go deal with that lead, because we've got to close the gap when we talk to people. So many people like to hand us leads. The lead means nothing, guys. You can get that in a click of a button. When someone gives you an introduction, I got a friend that's in trouble with their house, run to these deals, because you already have a 50% head start over any other investor or realtor. So you want to go ahead and do that. Okay.
All right. Perfect.
Okay. Jocelyn, pleasure talking to you. So guys, if you enjoyed this live, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. It'll help other people just like you to find it. And most important, please make sure you are subscribed to the Rick Ginn channel. I know I go off on tangents, stuff like that. I just like, this is the best way to get to know me without like seeing me in person, which one day I'll figure out how to connect with as many people possible without driving myself nuts, because I sit here and tell you the truth and I don't sell you anything. And I want to give you guys access. And really, this is the best way to do it. So make sure you subscribe, because I know you're serious. And make sure you guys join me Thursday. I'll be on with my son on the Flip with Rick channel. And we always have a lot of fun there, really creative topics. And make sure you check out my son on the Zach Ginn YouTube channel. So check us out, Rick Ginn, Zach Ginn on YouTube. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon. Nate, make sure you submit that deal. Send me that email. I'll see you.